Throughout the West, there are towns now deserted and crumbling. Winds moan through empty buildings, and an occasional tumbleweed is the solitary traveler on their dusty streets. We call these towns ghost towns, for they bear silent testimony to a time long gone, but not forgotten. This is Ghost Town, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, which has been brought to life through the genius of a man with a dream and a great love for our American heritage, Mr. R.B. Coburn. This western town, as authentic as humanly possible, is a typical cow town of the 1880s. Ghost Town citizens live much the same as they might have 100 years ago. Like most red-blooded American boys, the fellas in Ghost Town like to get together for a friendly card game in a congenial atmosphere. Occasionally, there's a poor loser in the crowd. It sure looks like this cowpoke has played his last game. Luckily, the marshal of Ghost Town is never far away, so justice prevails. Inside the silver dollar with its red velvet walls and great brass chandeliers are the beautiful red satin women and the hard, restless men who tamed the continent. Men who live and die by the gun. As with any town, Ghost Town also has its respectable side, and business is conducted with great virtue. However, in the Old West, one did not infringe upon another man's territory, or for that matter, his privacy, for there was an instant solution to all problems, even gossipy women. The gun was law. Speaking of law, the marshal and his deputy are enjoying an unusually peaceful day, babysitting. The jail's ungrateful tenant may not be there for long, though, with just a little cooperation from the deputy. Gads, foiled again. We usually have a nice, peaceful town here at Ghost Mountain, but it looks like there's trouble brewing in the Silver Dollar Saloon. Here comes the Apache Kid, and chasing him is another outlaw. The Apache Kid is a deadly killer, especially with that Bowie knife he carries. Look out! Well, that's strange. It looks like the fight is over. Apache Kid shot him right in the back. Here comes some more of the desperados out of the Silver Dollar Saloon, and I'll bet any second the marshal comes out to see what's happening. Well, there he is. And shooting. It looks like the marshal has got all but two and they're giving up. But of course, not for long. We do have a colorful individual in Ghost Town, and he's the richest man in town. This is Digger the Undertaker, and just look at the greed on that man's face. He gets $15 for every man he plants in Boot Hill. Aside from being an undertaker, he handles used clothes, boots, and hats. And he's the only man in this territory with a tall silk hat. Ghost Town actually exists today, 4,800 feet high atop Ghost Mountain on Route 19 in quaint and lovely Maggie Valley, North Carolina. A wonderful ages. Ghost Mountain Park has a unique added attraction. Visitors must park their cars at the foot of the mountain and ride either the incline railway or a chairlift to the top. The railway, the nation's first double incline railroad and also the steepest, is practically straight up, rising 1,200 feet into the sky at a varying grade of 30 degrees to 76.1 degrees. The chairlift, specially ordered from Italy, runs parallel to the incline railway and affords a breathtaking panoramic view of the valley below. Whichever one you choose to ride, you're doing more than riding to the top of Ghost Mountain. You are riding back through time, back into history 100 years, back into the days of the Wild West with all the famous villains and heroes that made this era the most glamorous, dramatic, and thrilling in American history. Ghost Town is actually a combination of 4 towns. Each is a complete town within itself, with business establishments in which you can buy gifts, refreshments, and other articles. Restaurants on Ghost Mountain offer the finest of foods, including native mountain dishes. Visitors may wander through the mining tunnel and shaft in the old mining town. In the old mountain village, there's an authentic grist mill and a mystery shack where water actually runs uphill. This is world-famous Panhandle Pete and his one-man band. Pete has played on many TV shows. The Indian Trading Post has many colorful and unusual items to delight palefaces. It also serves as an entrance to the Indian village, where an honest-to-goodness Cherokee Indian medicine man dispenses sage advice on how to remove warts, tomorrow's weather, and the art of shooting the bow and arrow. Clinging to the rim of the mountain and circling the western town at the very top is the Southern and Ghost Town Frontier Skyline Express, highest passenger train east of the Rockies. The Express is a replica of the old wood burners that traveled the expanses of the Golden West in the last century. The Railroad Station Museum contains many relics from the past. They were contributed by Southern Railway. Meanwhile, back at the marshal's office, one of the oldest desperados in this area is old Grandpappy. It seems that a couple of days ago, one of Grandpappy's young'uns came into town and drank too much red-eye at the Silver Dollar Saloon. While feeling his oats, he stole a horse. After a fair trial, the marshal hung old Grandpappy's young'un at sunup the next day. Even though old Grandpappy is all bent over with rheumatiz and a bad case of the miseries, he has sworn to shoot the marshal and take his badge. He especially wants Digger, because he's the one that buried his young'un. And he has vowed to take Digger's tall silk hat home with him. Here's the marshal to defend his star, and with him is his deputy. And of course, Digger, always hiding behind the law. If old Grandpappy has any sense, he's going to give up. But as expected, he had to take a try. Now that nobody's left to worry about, Digger gets brave and sets out to do his job. Marshal never figured one of Grandpappy's sons was hiding on the roof and the other behind a door. Now the whole family is passed on to Boot Hill. Oh, something is wrong. Something real bad. It looks like a combination of rheumatiz and rigor mortis is going to give Digger a hard time. Following each gunfight, the Can-Can girls in the Silver Dollar Saloon performed their version of the old 1880 Can-Can. From the looks of things, you might expect these cowpokes to start shooting up the place any minute. But don't let them fool you. Whether you order Panther Sweat, Mountain Dew, or Red Eye, it's still going to come up as root beer, orange, or Coke. For no alcoholic beverages are obtainable at this all-fountain.